I'm choosing my color palette, and this is different than choosing maybe two colors for your piece. This is a design. So I messed around with the colors for a while until I came up with something that I really liked. Then I measured out the drawer and made smaller versions of that in sketch form. I didn't want it to be too complicated, but at the same time, I didn't want it to be too simplistic. So I came up with a drawing that I already had that I had done a while ago. I simplified it even more to put on the drawer. And I measured, sketched it out, but it wouldn't have looked right if I didn't measure. In fact, it wouldn't have worked. Things would go off. So you have to measure and make sure everything is right where it has to be. The good news is you can stop and redo it if you need to. And I actually did need to redo that because the first time I started, I wasn't using a ruler. Now, don't let this scare you. You can do anything you want. And yes, this takes some time and some thought, but it's not difficult. I purposefully painted from the outside in, so I felt like I would have more control over the design that way. And if something were to be off, it would be easier to tweak from the outside in. And I mean, I could be wrong about that, but it did work pretty well for me. I just did one color at a time and just worked my way down into the center. Speaking of color, I kind of worked that out in my head as I went along, trying to keep it balanced. I didn't want one color to dominate more than another. I wanted them to work together. And you see me here, I'm writing out the colors, counting out how many colors of each and how they would be balanced. I ended up changing it the next day because I discovered there were a couple of colors that were too close together.